Hello and welcome back to my channel. Now we have to talk about another thing that's just beyond messed up. Rochester, New York got caught on body cam video. Their cops got caught on body cam video pepper spraying a 9-year-old girl who was handcuffed. And she's 9. Like, I don't even know how to approach this video because in my mind, I cannot see where any cop can justify pepper spraying a child, let alone a child as young as 9. She had a mental health issue. She was threatening to harm herself and harm her mother. So again, cops were called to help, and instead of helping, they pepper sprayed a 9-year-old girl. To remind you, for those of you who aren't thinking about it, 9 is not that old. 9 is, still in freaking elementary school. So we're now saying it's okay to pepper spray kids that are in elementary school for mental health problems. And if you're one of those people that are trying to say, well, she wasn't complying, she's a 9-year-old little girl who's scared and crying for her father, who is handcuffed. I don't even understand the need to handcuff a 9-year-old child. They had to make some special allotments there because a 9-year-old, I don't know if you know how small a 9-year-old's wrists are, but they're pretty tiny, and putting on handcuffs is not the easiest. So a little girl with mental health is handcuffed, put in the back of a police car, and then pepper sprayed for not complying. She's a baby. Can you imagine what was going through that police officer's mind? What kind of justification can you possibly have for hurting a baby whose brain is not fully developed, who clearly cannot understand the consequences of her actions? When a 9-year-old throws a temper tantrum, you talk it out. You try to figure out what they're trying to express, especially if they're having a mental health issue. And you see her crying and asking them to wipe the pepper spray out of her eyes. She's a baby. I cannot emphasize this enough. She's a baby. And the cops are showing no concern for this child as they pepper spray her in the face. The idea that I even have to make a video talking about how we need police reform and we need medical personnel and social workers to show up to mental health calls doesn't even begin to touch on the issue of, again, she was a 9-year-old little girl. If you don't see a problem with this, if you don't see that cops are not taught are not taught enough or well enough to de-escalate a situation and are incapable of handling mental health crisis, I don't know what to do anymore, because this is such a clear and cut and dry case. She's a child. I don't know how many times I can repeat in one video. She is a 9-year-old child. A terrified child. Her mom is saying she's going to sue the Rochester Police Department. The people that were involved in the call have been put on administrative leave. I haven't checked to see if they've been fired. I hope they have. But Rochester, New York has a history of stuff like this. Must I remind you, during the Black Lives Matter protest, they pushed an elderly man down and then left him there to bleed? This is the police department that I'm talking about. And yet nothing seems to change. And the same excuses are being said that are always said. Why didn't she comply? Well, the cops were, she was endangering the cops. A 9-year-old child can't endanger the cops. She's a 9-year-old child. She doesn't have a weapon. She's handcuffed. She's defenseless. So yeah. again, I mean, I'm just gonna keep saying it. She's a child. And it's unacceptable that in this day and age, in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, that supposedly is the best at everything, which it's not, but we try to say that we're the best at everything and we're the most fair and we're the most this and that. We can't find a way to not pepper spray a little girl because she's scared and in the middle of a mental health crisis. What does that say about us? What does that say about the environment that we are bringing our children up in? What does that say about the racism in this country? I can't even anymore. It's time after time again, it's mind-numbing hatred. It's mind-numbing blaming of the victims. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. Alright guys, that one was kind of sad, and I will see y'all later.